In the Astral Empire, you won't find as many restaurants as you would on Earth. In fact, you will find mobile food establishments that work much like those old-fashioned diners, and those will be speckled across towns and cities. Those little mobile food eateries will be about the size of a small building, and they will have a little place for people to eat and be sheltered from the weather, and just to have a time to just rest and relax, and have a time and a place to congregate, especially during the nighttime. There's a time in the Empire actually called nighttime, or like the what do you call it? I think it's called like night core. I'm trying to remember exactly how I came up with the term, but it's pretty much a time of the night where individuals either get up and go out for a couple hours, or they just like to be up during the night. The regular sleeping time, sleep schedule of the average astrolic individual is said to be around 5 hours initial, and then 2 hours or an hour and a half in between to get up, putter around, do very low level activity, read a book, maybe watch an episode or two of a show, and then you will have an additional 4 hours to sleep, and then get up and then do your regular daytime or nighttime duties. This allows individuals to have time that is separate of their normal time that they are awake, to be able to interact with individuals who are usually on an opposite schedule. So if you usually work during the daytime and you've always wondered what nighttime is, because of these specialized sleep cycles that are not exactly enforced but that are encouraged, this allows individuals to have about 2 hours to enjoy either the nightlife or the day life, depending on whether they work the night shift or the day shift. And this also gives them opportunity to go home and rest, and be able to get up and to go about their regular duties. We don't have many high-rises or crazy metropolises as you would think in our empire that we would have, since our empire is so massive. Our planets are about twice the size of Earth, and that allows for more room and much better grouping for 13 billion inhabitants each. In fact, to keep cities small and mostly even distribution of inhabitants on the planet, we make sure that every city or town has a top-tier hospital, minor medical centers for less important things, special schooling facilities, and much more worked through directly from the Empire. This will ensure proper distribution of medical aid, education, food distribution centers, and more for every town and city. This allows for towns to feel more homey and cities to feel much more fun and 90s-ish. Techy, but not overly techy. In fact, if you enter the Empire, you will see that despite many cultures, it will look like you have time traveled into the past, as things have a more simple and clean appearance than things do on Earth in the modern age. We like to keep things simple where they are simple, but more complicated where they are needed to be complicated. We don't like useless complexity. So we, usually just try to keep things nice and simple. Now, we do have tools that are able to change their shape because it is a morphic technology, but it is simple. You don't have like 30 blades, all brandished at a time. You have a blade attachment that, that morphs into a blade, and then it can morph into a spoon. It just depends on what you need. We try to keep things as cluttered, as non-cluttered as possible. Despite our technology being eons ahead of the rest of the universe, we try to keep things looking clean and happy and quirky. We enjoy unusual designs, and we like to have a colorful and fun and unique society. During the nighttime, streetlights and vehicle airways are speckled with dim blue and red lights to help reduce light pollution and keep things looking nice and clean. You will see many nighttime food trucks and mobile eateries driving to different areas where they are needed and providing wonderful food to all nighttime inhabitants. Edinstvo, who is a lover of the night and darkness, enjoys the nightlife and the different planets of the Empire. Despite every planet having its own society and unique ways of living, all of them follow the same rules that keep the basic building blocks of the Empire strong and secure. Edinstvo has recently made a large effort in being with his people, a lot more physically and visiting planets more instead of spending years at a time on his ship. Edinstvo literally doesn't exactly have a home. His home is his battleship. That's what he lives on and that's where he is. So you will see what looks like an apartment inside his main battleship. And that is just kind of where he lived for quite a long time, actually. He does, however, only go to a planet during the night cycle to keep himself more hidden because he does not like to be swarmed. In fact, he has learned to be very quiet and only talk when talked to and not bring attention to himself. People's opinions of him mean very little to him, but he still does try to be a good leader and be agreeable when the situation calls for it. Individuals who see him usually watch him silently and cautiously, as they know that he doesn't like to be swarmed. But there are a few brave individuals in every city that will walk up to him and thank him for all that he has done for the Empire. News reports and blogs have reported him showing up to different planets to see how they are doing, and people get to see a new side of him. A strange and oddly curious side to him. Like a shadowy figure that is, although terrifying and imposing, is also curious and gentle. He doesn't walk around with an elite guard like most leaders would. In fact, it's usually just him and Sufti, and maybe his pet Schmango, a strange astrolic wolf astrolic goat hybrid. A very weird, goofy looking creature. Edinstvo loves the nightlife feel, and often enjoys listening to music like what is playing in this video. He likes lo-fi music. He likes the kind of like old techno or synthesizer music that kind of gives like an ambiance, an atmospheric feel to where he is. He likes music. He doesn't like silence. He always has something playing to help give his brain something to work on. He really enjoys atmospheric, calm music that induces feelings and emotions. He often likes to sit in a warm, cozy coffee shop diner, looking out thoughtfully over the quiet streets as the rain trickles down the windows. He will often gently sip at his warm beverage and nibble on a biscuit or a little pastry. Sometimes, a brave child comes up and hugs him tight, hopping into his lap, wanting to talk to him. The youngling will often nuzzle his fur and wiggle happily, wanting to see their leader acknowledge them. Edinstvo has never turned one away and shows the utmost love and care for his younglings. You will see a strange and unusual side of him emerge when this happens, a side that you never thought that he had, a side that is very seldom seen. He talks gently and quietly, but engages with the child, and he hears the cool stories that the child has to say. The child knows to quickly keep their voice down as to not aggravate Edinstvo, as his ears will fold against his head to protect his ears from loud noises. You will see them share a meal as they talk about their day and what fun they are up to that night, and plans that they have for the future. Then, after this has concluded, Edinstvo gently nuzzles the fur of the youngling and sends them on their way, giving them a special token that he hands out to individuals only brave enough to interact with him so fearlessly. The token glows the 7 colors of the Astral 7 and shimmers in the darkness. It is a reminder that no matter how dark and scary the universe and life may be, that hope and light will always overpower the darkness and bring forth a strong and new day for the people, and the integrity and hope of the Astral Empire. When you tap on the different colors of the token, it'll read out that color of the individual Astral 7 that you tap on. It will give parables pertaining to that color that you tap on, and it can be a great aid in giving guidance and helping stabilize an unstable situation. In fact, it is a mystery still to this day for most how the parable that is spoken when activated always seems to be the right one that is needed for that individual situation, whether they know it or not. Edinstvo knows it's the loving grace of the great creator, and handing these out makes him smile. He knows that his people won't be led wrong. And if you tap in the center and ask into the token what you should do, when you don't know how to handle something or make the right decision, the token will gently state in ancient astrology, take it to the great creator in prayer and sublimation. A reminder from Edinstvo to his people to always look heavenward no matter what. So, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all for the glory of the great creator. As the years go by of Edinstvo being around his people more and more, you will see the dark cities at night complemented by these little tokens that are placed over the entrances of each residence or window, marking the growth of new hope and meaning in the empire. A special light that glows even in the darkest reaches of space. Each child or individual who is given these tokens is instructed by Edinstvo that whenever the sky goes dark, that they should place these tokens on the windowsill or over the doors facing outward as a testimony and a sign that the light will always be with you, and it is your hope that should never fail. Then, just as quickly as Edinstvo appears on that planet, he disappears without a trace, leaving only those special tokens behind. Like a specter in the night, he travels the empire, blessing individuals both young and old, alike with his wisdom and care. Even though he only interacts with a few individuals during his visits on each planet, he leaves an impact that is undisputable. It may not feel like he changes the world, but for those individuals he interacts with, the world has changed. Blessings of the Astral Seven.